So this is a request for building with Maskwood Nexus. And we've got a few different synergies with Maskwood Nexus here in Magda and Dragonkin Berserker care about your creature types. Squad Commander technically gets enabled by Maskwood Nexus. Hofri lets Maskwood Nexus give all your things 1/1 trample and haste. We've got Goldspan, we've got Chariot, just because they're good cards. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this kind of Naya pile and see how it goes. Oh, Lure, did you want a specific Sultai list played? I was under the impression that the Sultai control is a build-around submission. So I spent time building around last night. Yeah, I'm cool with this list, but this is definitely like I wouldn't consider this list you sent me a control deck. Like this is Sultai Ramp is what I would list it as. If you look on my Twitters, I posted a Sultai control variation that I was working on. Okay, cool. I will change that in the deck queue to Sultai Ramp. Yeah, these lands are great. The 3-color combinations that get to play two of these lands in Standard are very good. Thanks for the 2.5 years, Rockin' Zanair. Welcome back. Immortal Echoes, thank you for the 4 years. I know you've been lurking and around longer than that too. Hope life's treating you all right. You go back to the Hex days, if I recall correctly, right? It's been a hot second since then. Find out a Puppet deck? Yeah, we played blue-black Puppet Delver. You can find it up on the YouTube channel. Well, we hit a dwarf on top, but out of lands to cast it. Yeah, the form is helpful for keeping track for sure. Or you could put even just putting the deck list in putting the deck list in the cheer comment. The message that you cheer for. It's fine though. We got it all sorted. I'm glad I didn't play the other Sultai control list this morning then, since you had a list you wanted. Well, I mean, they're out of cards. They have a Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I don't remember if I put basics in this mana base. Let's find out. Most of my 3-color mana bases have been having like 1 to 2 basics because of Field of Ruin. What does Untap say? Untap says, Past Jeff put 1 forest and 1 mountain in the mana base. Good job, Past Jeff. Maybe I'm supposed to be attacking with everything here because of the potential of a sweeper off the top. Yeah, probably. Bastion sounds like a cool guy. He's okay. He's okay when he doesn't leave me hanging. Yeah, I think I should have attacked with everything last turn. Yeah, if I'd have attacked them with everything the previous turn, they would have died this turn. I think I was too conservative for too long there. Their last card's a counterspell. Yeah, I threw this game. I'm gonna go ahead and concede. They have Meathook Massacre and they have a dig through time in their graveyard. Oh, you know what? I don't think I looked at the sideboard from the original deck submission, and it is really not well balanced. I guess I'll bring in a couple of Pithing Needles, but we don't have sufficient cards to bring in against control here. We'll have to fix that in the in a second. We just got too much removal in here. Like almost all of the sideboard is spot removal, so we want to balance that a little bit so we have appropriate cards to bring in against control. Oh, we did see Pop It, didn't we? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of their deck is Doomblades. Having a bunch of interactive cards in our deck doesn't sound very appealing against their average card in their deck. And like if they get Pop It out and get it going, it makes their sweepers much worse against us, right? Pretty unfortunate that we know we're going to miss our land drop next turn. Untapped land would be a good draw here. So if I play this, I can also play one of these. Maybe I'm supposed to do this pre-combat, so that way when they counterspell, I can attack for 1 extra. It is really funny to me that people are bitching about this card, because this card is definitely my most hated card in this format, and it's not particularly close. Really good draw. And we know they drew this for the turn, because if they already had that in hand, they would have flipped Poppet Stitcher over, because they would have put us to almost dead. Nah, it's not that Time Walks are too good for standard, chat. It's that Aldrin's Epiphany fundamentally solves the two biggest problems with Time Walks, which is not having a board and them being interactable via discard spells. Like, I want you to imagine for a second the two copies of Aldrin's Epiphany our opponent cast there had been just like Time Warp. They literally wouldn't have done anything, right? It literally would have just been untap your lands, draw a card, and it would have accomplished actual nothing. And instead, it made birds and then won the game. Jam a bunch of Wrenns as an anti-control card. By the way, for people that haven't seen it, the kind of go big, do the thing plan in this deck is World Tree grabs gods out of your deck, and Maskwood Nexus makes everything god. So if you can activate this while you have this in play, you get to floop your entire pile of creatures into play out of your deck. Yeah, I actually think Aldrin's Epiphany is stronger than Nexus of Fate in a lot of situations. It's just that Aldrin's Epiphany actually kills you, whereas Nexus of Fate generally sat there and just masturbated, not letting the opponent realize they had lost the game frequently. So Nexus of Fate felt worse to play against for most people, even if it was less powerful than what Aldrin's is doing. Yeah, I think they're both stains is a fine position to take. Yeah, Nexus of Fate's very comparable to Book Combo is a good take. So put up playing like green-red interactive stuff? You're happy Book Combo's not good. I'm actually not convinced that Book Combo isn't good. People just aren't playing it. I haven't seen anybody working on that. I feel like people just forgot it was a thing. So your boast costs are cheaper for every dragon you control. Is Book Cody. No, Book of Exalted Deeds. There's a lot of Field of Ruin. I mean, a lot is an exaggeration. There's a non-zero amount of Field of Ruin. So I can play this, and now my boast cost is 3. Oh, right, it's 1 because these make each other cheaper. Right, I forgot about that. The old 1 mana make a 5/5. Your move, Yugi boy. Did Niv end up going 5/2? That wouldn't surprise me. I think their build was very reasonable. We had it on coverage for one of the rounds. There's also a mono white book deck in the standard challenge top 8. Yep. So this says boast abilities you activate cost 1 less for each dragon you control. I think this card's very good and playable outside of memes with Maskwood Nexus, by the way. Yes, they reduce all boast. This is technically a boast synergy card. Here, there be dragons. Yeah, other cards with boast aren't constructed playable, so it's really easy to miss. Is accurate. This grindy effect's probably not very good. We'll bring in some more spot removal here. Usher is playable, sure. Grookey's just signed off for the day and tweeted that he went 9-0 with Aldurin's Epiphany Simic Ramp. So expect to have a lot more extra turns taken against you in the near future, fam. You know, maybe I'm just supposed to Dragonfire this instead of playing the 1-drop here. What options outside of Wrenn are good to sideboard for control? Depends on the type of control deck, right? So there's like the black-white snow decks that you want grindy card advantage against, but then there's also... you know, counterspell-based control decks where you want uncounterable stuff. Where you find the Hoaglandia Open top 8 list. You go to jeffhoagland.com and click the Hoaglandia Open button on the main navigation. You will find not only a link to the full coverage and deck list, but also the coverage archive on YouTube. Also find all the past Open coverage up there as well. Okay. Oh, I should have played a red mana out. That was a pretty big oops. Obviously, I wanted to hold up Dragonfire here. No, don't give them a link directly to the tournament, Logan. I'm trying to teach to fish here. Yeah, pretty big mistake here. Opponent's gonna end up with an extra treasure. And I took 4 more damage because I played the wrong lands. I mean, if you don't enjoy playing a hard lock deck and watching your opponent flounder around while they're beat, you should be playing something else. Especially on Magic Arena. People value their time at actual 0 on Magic Arena and basically never concede to decks when they're locked out. It is incredibly rare on this platform for people to do that. Yeah, and the fact that I am 4 life down here for my mistake is the reason we're going to die. If I was +6 from better mana or +4 at 6 for better mana sequencing, we'd have been okay there. Can you actually teach Twitch chat to fitch? Maybe. Maybe. Pretty good. All right, so they 1000% have a copy of Play with Fire here, right? So I'm just gonna pass the turn. I'm looking forward to poking at some Unite this afternoon, too. I'm not sure who I want to play to start. Why not Machamp? Well, Machamp didn't get any balance patches. I'm not a huge fan of that. Honestly, I might start Garchomping. Chomp's one of my favorites, and they gave him some small buffs. Have we recovered from the Ceratops auto tapper yesterday? I only ask because I would have uninstalled. We actually didn't get new Pokemon released today. Yeah, Talonflame seems sweet too. A critical hit build of Talonflame could be sweet, like Scope Lens and the new item. I do not have a 5-stack coordinated for this afternoon, no. I think I'm double blocking here. Pretty far behind at this point. Saving grace being that the opponent doesn't have any lands. Is that lethal? It's pretty close to lethal, right? Oh, my opponent missed it. I can't believe they didn't crew the Chariot and give it haste. Okay, so with Maskwood Nexus, tapping any of my creatures gives me treasure. So this is 2, 3, 4 treasures, and I can search up another dragon. Does that get me anywhere useful, though? Still gets me to dead, right? I can get squad for chump blockers. That's a great call. Yeah. Hey, D. Brian, thank you for the 51 months. I appreciate the over 4 years. Welcome back. I think I just do this now so they can't respond to these triggers by killing my stuff. Actually, do I just chill for now? Do I just pass? Because I can do this at any time, right? I just wanted to make the treasures now. This is instant speed, right? Yeah. Who knew Magda had more text, right? Yeah, your dwarves get an attack, and then whenever your dwarves tap, you get treasure tokens. This does give trample on its Nightbound side, which is scary. So we do this, and then we take one. Okay. That's kind of gas. I don't have the ability to push lethal here, right? My Hofris are in the sideboard right now. I have another squad commander, though. All right, well, they conceded. Sweet. All right, I'm glad we got to do a thing with Maskwood Nexus at least once. I don't know. I don't know if this deck is good, but it's certainly great. It's kind of sweet. Yeah, your entire deck is all creature types with Maskwood Nexus. It's why we're playing copies of the Greenland that searches gods out of our deck. Oh, you know what we should maybe be playing a cheeky copy of? Should we be playing a cheeky copy of the dwarf that doubles or the giant that doubles damage from giants? Maybe we should slot one of those in here. My Maskwood Nexus Magda toolbox. Tribal's a good description. One Cadillac, please. Esper, A. Untapped land tier would be great. I think I want to just play Maskwood Nexus this turn, so we'll say no attacks. Hey, Naru, thanks for the quarter of year. Welcome back. Well, so Cadillac's actually really good with our toolbox linked in because Cadillac lets us tap all of our creatures to crew it to generate treasures. Oh, I could have attacked with this if I was casting this, right? Yeah, the boast only costs 1 here because all of these are dragons thanks to Maskwood Nexus. This is them reading Dragonkin Berserker trying to figure out how that only cost 1 mana. Good deck building is the answer, opponent. It's just good deck building. I'm gonna cast this dwarf off the top of my deck here. Wait, they had saw it coming? Weird. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Seems like they might be a little grindy, so I'm gonna board in Wrenn and Seven. Dragon's Fire doesn't seem particularly exciting. Board in the extra Realmwalker because grindy. Yeah, they must have had nothing else and just wanted to pack it in. Because to be fair, even if they're 3/3 lived, they were still super far behind. Skeletal Swarming and Maskwood Nexus. Can't say I've seen those two together. Stan Stub, an unrelated account name. Thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. It is a lot of mana for cards that don't really impact the board. Alright, so the opponent does have more creatures in their deck. Looks like an Esper Venture deck. Abzan Venture into the dungeon is something that I want to try at some point. Honestly, Esper might be okay too. We had played Abzan in Standard 22 and it was kind of sweet. Well, we also have 4 Esika's Chariot, and we have 4 Goldspan Dragon, so, like, you kind of go crazy into overdrive when you have Maskwood Nexus, but, like, we also just have, like, a glut of good cards in our deck. You always felt like Venture did a whole lot of nothing. I'd encourage you to go back and take a peek at some of the Standard 22 videos that we posted, because my experience was the exact opposite of that. Venture felt really powerful when the engine got going, and you frequently buried your opponent in wide boards and card advantage. Hey, Hodge, thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is my Wrenn and Seven. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I'll leave these back. Fine, if they want to trade for the Cadillac, we got a backup here. We also just like got 5 power out of it, plus these already, so it left plenty behind.
The heat has become unbearable.
These unblockable idiots might kill us. I'm definitely not boarded correctly here. I boarded out my removal thinking they were more controlling because we didn't see their Venture dorks in the in the first game. Alright, I think I gotta get aggressive here at this point. Crunch. for the follows, Vinny and Stin. Yeah, this token's legendary. Just getting 2 of them isn't particularly useful here for the opponent. Orn and Murph. We get sent to the Space Jam here, right? Like they block all of these and they take more than 8. Orn and Asmo. Yeah, that's a close game. Their unblockable Durkos almost got there. You need a little bit more interaction, though. Wrenn and Seven plus Chariot, just a very powerful combination that was able to run away with things. Opponent probably needs to lean into counter magic more to be able to disrupt that. Sure. Alright, just want to draw lands for the next 2 turns here. Hey, good morning, John Gully. Thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. At least that's a castable spell, not another 4 or 5 mana card. How many lands are in this deck? Quick double check. I think we're on 24 or 25. We're on 26. Never lucky, chat. Never lucky. Bunch of removal here. I will say, the one thing I did not miss while my kids were remote learning for the bulk of the last year was constantly having some kind of cold. They're like tiny plague bearers, chat. They go out and they frolic with their kind and they come back and you get sick. And then with the added annoyance of every cold now comes with a COVID test to make sure that we're not spreading the actual plague. Yeah, we've been fortunate and haven't had any of that yet, but I'm sure at some point, it will, it'll happen. Your kid starts daycare in a week, and it worries you a bit. Yeah, so if you've never had a child in daycare before, you should just know, like, your child's been home, I assume, new one. Your child constantly being sick is something that's just going to happen for their first little bit. And it's not going to constantly be, it's not going to be COVID. So, like, I'm not trying to scare you into worrying about them dying, but just, like, runny noses, cold, stuff like that. You've been a stay-at-home dad. Yeah. I did that for a while, too. And then once they get into daycare, yeah, daycare crud was a thing even before the plague. All right, so do I Burning Hands the tracker before blocks, or do I want to use it to kill the Lumiarch? If I Burning Hands the tracker, I get to attack with the Dragonkin Berserker as well. So I think we do this. We get our Dragon Treasure Token. We set this on fire. Our doctor told us expect them to get sick 12 to 14 times. Yeah. In fact, part of when our youngest Haley started daycare at 14 months, we started her only 1 day a week because we just assumed she was going to get sick some amount of the time. And you have to pay for the entire week of daycare if you sign up for a slot, even if your kid's sick and not using it. So we were like, well, we're just going to do 1 day a week to start because that way we don't have to pay for a bunch of days we're not going to use when she inevitably gets sick. All right, so I think we do this and we choose this. Are they dead? I haven't done math. They appear to be dead. Removal spells, ladies and gentlemen. Removal spells. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Just gonna run it back. $680 a week? Where do they live? That's a number that's more absurd than any I've heard. Well, we're definitely killing this. The question is, do you want to use Dragonfire or Burning Hands? Probably Dragonfire on the first one. Yeah, mine about 370 is what we pay. We pay about $1,400 a month for full time. Here in the cornfields. Alright, well, just keep killing their stuff here. I'm gonna hold on to the Dragonfire for now, because it could deal 4 to a non-green creature down the line. Actually, maybe that's not true. Being able to deal 6 to a Wrenn token has a lot of appeal. Yeah, you can't pay for childcare with the minimum wage job in the United States. You quit your job and stay home. In fact, when my oldest was born, I think I was making like $42,000 a year, and we decided we'd rather just have me stay home. It was gonna be what, like almost 20 grand a year for them to be in daycare? We're just like, well, if half my salary before taxes is gonna go to daycare costs, why am I even gonna work? I think we're gonna do blue-black zombies after this one. So, do we just get Goldspan Dragon down and start farming up resources here? There's appeal to putting Chariot down so that way we can, like, crew it and start attacking and copying it. Goldspan pushes damage faster, though. Reading the chat of vasectomy seems way cheaper. Children are expensive. You should never have children if you're expecting them to be profitable. That's not the reason you do it. Well, we get to vomit our hand into play here. Their Augur of Autumn here. They could go absolutely crazy now. Their humans tap for mana, and they get to play creatures off the top of their deck. They have a good stint here. We could get buried. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have played the Chariot, and I would have had enough mana to use the World Tree next turn, huh? I wasn't thinking about the World Tree I had. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm one mana short. Man, that's sad. I shouldn't have played the Chariot. I wasn't thinking about the World Tree angle. All right, well, we can maybe do it next turn. If we survive, there's a chance we die. You can copy a treasure with the Chariot. No, chat. These attack at the same time. And you have to choose your target for Esika's Chariot copy when the trigger goes on the stack, not when it resolves. White, red, green, red, green, blue, blue, black, black. I'm so happy we got to do this at least once in this set. Papi! There you go. There you go, chat. Nah, these dragons get to attack, chat. They're dead. They don't have another turn to have a sweeper. Which creatures? All of them. We are not merely men, we are gods. Gods and dragons and dwarves and everything else under the sun. I can't take credit for this deck. This is a viewer submitted idea. It's very sweet. If you have a sweet idea and you enjoy my content and you'd like to support my content a little bit, I would love to play one of your sweet ideas on stream at some point in the future. You can find details on that on my website there. I am fresh out of heist support, Cenotaph. Apologies. What do we name with Realmwalker if we don't have the thing in play? I've been naming Dwarf, because Dwarf is the most common creature type we have. Hey, thanks for the half a year, Butters. Welcome back. I already have Magda in play, though, so maybe I just name Dragon here. Could be great to just name Dragon. Well, I mean, there's a dragon on top, but I can't quite cast it this turn, unfortunately. I think we just pass here. Get a little bit punished by protection spells here, but they don't always have those in their main deck. Oh, right. This taps to make a... We're actually only one short here of casting the dragon. Kind of funny. Well, if we can find a, Oh, if I would have attacked with Realmwalker, I could have grabbed Maskwood Nexus. Yeah, maybe I should have attacked with Realmwalker to generate a treasure. We're, like, dangerously close to doing the thing next turn, right? So I don't have enough mana to do the thing this turn, right? Or will I? So if I attack with Realmwalker and Goldspan, I'll get 3 treasures. No, yeah, I think we get to do it, right? Because we get 3 treasures. So attacking with these is 3 treasures. Yeah, and then I can do this, right? Because this is... Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We get the green and the red from our lands. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What an easy game, chat. What an easy game. Now we're pod racing. I do think we trim the Realmwalkers here and this, and we just board up on removal like we have been. So maybe we trim the Dragonkin Berserker instead of the Jaspera Sentinel. Am I gonna mess around with Mobile Unite? I actually think it's about the same to aim the skill shots, the way it plays out. I played a game this morning, Carafe. And I think I prefer the controller. I'll probably poke at it a little bit more, but the controller feels more natural to me. But I also have a lot more hours in with the controller, so there's some bias there. Thanks for the follow, Vinny. And Casey. If you're new to the channel, we play a lot of silly kind of off-meta decks like this. We usually play somewhere between 2 and 4 different Magic decks every single day of the week. I have a YouTube channel where everything that seems reasonable, competitive, or maybe worth brewing on some more ends up at and gets cut up deck by deck. So it's a great source of both standard, historic brawl. Lots of Magic content up there on Arena. That's what this channel does. It kills wildcards. That's true. The first time it happened, it was a fluke. The second time we put every creature from our deck into play, if you listened very carefully, you could hear the sound of 1,000 wildcards crying out in pain. Gosh, this hand is so good if it had a red source. We are up a game. I'm gonna be disciplined and mulligan here. Yeah, that seems fine. Huh? I'm gonna play this on 1, because then we can play this on white mana. Yeah, we've won a bunch of games without any combo cards as well. Is accurate. We're also just like an Esika's Chariot Goldspan Dragon deck, right? So like we have a number of like decent cards in our deck. Can you just like play a real game of Magic? All right. Any untapped land next turn, please. Rip. I'm gonna concede to a Chariot here. Any meaningful card that advances their board puts us too far behind with the missed drop. That'll count too. 26 lands later, I missed my 3rd land drop on 3, the Jeff Oakland story. 3 color mana bases. It's for the follow noise. This might be a mulligan. We find... I guess most of our cheap creatures are red. Probably should have played Kitchen Release here. Nice. Skill game never didn't have it. Bard class did get on coverage and it looked sweet. It's definitely on my list of things I would like to play here sometime soon. It's gonna hold up Dragonfire so we can counter a Blizzard Brawl if they try and do that this turn. Yes, it was unfortunately the round that my computer BSOD'd, so it didn't make it on the coverage archive. So, little punish for not dragon firing proactively here, but I think that was correct to play around. So I can Maskwood Nexus here. And then these make 2 treasures plus a mana, and then I can Squad Commander. BSOD is blue screen of death. My computer crashed and reset halfway through the event. Hasn't done it since. I've done what? Today's Wednesday, so we did 2 full stream days and with other issues, so hopefully just writing it off to a fluke. So if they can't interact with my board, I get 6 treasures next turn, which means with Jaspera Sentinel, I get to flute my deck into play. The way they're mousing makes me think they could have a removal spell. They could also just be reading Squad Commander, though, because it's not a commonly played card. If I could give past Jeff any advice on streaming, what would you tell him? Put his chat in sub-only mode sooner, instead of arguing with idiots. I spent way too much time in my earlier days arguing with stupid people. If you're gonna argue with stupid people, at least have them pay you. So this attack happens, we get all of the treasures, then we get to World Tree. Man, this deck's hilarious. I can't believe, like, the first time we popped off with the World Tree, I was like, okay, this is sweet. But, like, we did it 3 times now in, like, an hour. It's kind of great. Also, like, and it's not even just about making people pay you to argue with you. Actually, someone asked Day 9 last night why his chat's in sub-only mode, and he had a really succinct summary. It's that having even a small little bit of something ups the stakes, right? The amount of silly, stupid, pushback, being obnoxious people are willing to do when they've spent that little bit of money is a lot lower, right? The amount of people that are willing to be like, even spending a Prime sub is a resource, right? And when you've committed a little bit of something to something, you're more likely to be respectful and reasonable with it. And that's not to say that all non-subs are obnoxious, but the proportion that are obnoxious kind of ruin it for everyone. Croaky's put his chat in sub only. Honestly, that makes me more likely to watch him. my Croaky's watching always involved like minimizing his chat because the constant spamming just like isn't for me. But it's a draw. Different Twitch chats for different people. Some people are really into lots of Keck W's and different emote spam, which is not what I get out of Twitch chat. I mean, like large Twitch chats that do that are generating a particular experience, and I can acknowledge that even if that experience isn't for me, that's why other people use Twitch in some ways. It's perfectly okay for something to, you know, be something someone else enjoys, even if I don't enjoy it. Nothing wrong with that. Seems great. Tap land's a little bit sad, but the rest of it is fine. I think in the dark I keep the Dragonfire and bottom the Berserkers. That's definitely true. Twitch chat does get an extra rare form at set releases. You have higher activity and more loose opinions. Keck W is a Twitch chat LOL. It's an in way to say LOL that makes people feel like outsiders. So I put a stop on their end step here, so if they don't kill this, I can remember to make a treasure. This card's really good. White aggro is something on my list I want to try too. JD Za, thanks for the follow. Yeah, Keck and the stupid frog have been co-opted by the alt-right in particular circles and have some real negative connotations attached to them these days. Which is one of the reasons why I don't enable BTT emotes in my channel. Yeah, the Pepes, those things. I'm not a fan. I can't tell if this message is a troll or not. Why do you ban people? I'm gonna time you out. Maybe that was a timeout request. Do I want to trade my Chariot for their Cathar? I think so. I think that's a trade I'm okay with. You get a cat out of it, right? Sure. Oh, I'd love to draw a card. Yeah, they're a 6-month sub, so I'm also gonna assume it was a timeout request. Go ahead and pass here. What are they and how long do they last? A timeout just means you can't post in chat for 10 minutes. And for you, those of you asking, well, like, why would someone ask to be timed out? It's an in-joke for the channel if you're new. Because before I put my chat in sub-only mode, I would time people out aggressively. And I kid you not, there are lots of threads and posts on Reddit and other social media from over the years about people talking about how I'm a fascist and their rights have been violated and they deserve to be able to post in Twitch chat, and it's very mean that they were timed out. So the regulars often ask for complimentary timeout as a means of making fun of people that think their rights have somehow been violated when they get timed out. Which is why that's a channel thing here. Alright, Dragonkin Berserker's not a terrible pickup. He gets to just keep smashing here. He's got First Strike, and he gets to start making Dargans next turn. We're not that far off of Magda finding us friends either. I actually don't really do banner ads or selling banner ad space unless they're a really big sponsor like NordVPN. You can see that one down below. They're up there for this month. But the rate at which I was charging for banner ads, I decided I wanted to largely keep the stream more clean. All right, so this is a matchup where I think we're mostly just boarding down and bringing in a bunch of removal spells. I wonder if I'm supposed to trim some Nexus against aggro. Probably. Makes me sad to say, but probably. I probably just want to be more... I'm just going to turn into more good cards in my deck because our combo's pretty slow and clunky here. Yeah, we'll just turn into like a Wrenn and Seven deck with Chariot and Dragon, basically. So we're going to board out the sweet things against the aggro deck. Yeah, thanks, T. Jones. And I mean, honestly, like, I know the way chat gets managed, like, turns some people off, but that's fine. And like I said, like, just like I can acknowledge, like, the Twitch chat spam stuff isn't for everyone, like, my channel management isn't for everyone, and that's okay if people go watch other stuff instead. It's honestly one of the greatest things about Twitch, right? Like, there's so many people making so many different types of things. You could probably find something for everyone. Hey, Tritonsaurus Rex, thanks for 11 months. Welcome back. You took off during Eldraine Standard. Can't say that I blamed you. I took a few months off during Eldraine Standard, too. Magic, I often say nobody quits Magic, they just take breaks. Oh, man. That's so rude. I forgot it puts my lands into play tap, too. Thanks, Roller Dude. Yeah, so a lot of Eldraine catches a lot of flack, and I think a lot of people wrongfully, like, say the designs are bad. But, like, I actually, in my opinion, the only design in Eldraine that was bad is Once Upon a Time. I think if you look at almost every other design in Eldraine, you could just adjust some of the numbers and the design would be perfectly fine. Even Embercleave, for example, I think if Embercleave cost 5 mana to re-equip, it's a perfectly reasonable card because spot removal would then be much better against it. Yeah, the execution was too pushed. I think the designs were fine. Oko is a couple numbers away from being fine, chat. Sorry to ruin your Oko sucks parade. In fact, I would argue the Oko that we saw during the card rebalance thing wasn't even good. They made Oko's second one, they made it a +1 and a -2, and the card, like, didn't even seem playable in Historic. We might get run down here. Their aspirant's very good. Should we have floated mana off the treasure to sack the clue before the dragon died? Yeah, it didn't give me... my arena was auto-passing me. Lampton. Was not given the opportunity to do that by the client. I think I want these borrowed times and these Cathars. Let's trim these portable holes. They don't seem very good. I have a lot of ways to take them off the tail. Let's trim a Dragonkin Berserker. Yeah, the mono white deck's great if you haven't seen it. It's very, very good. Cool to be timed out. Haha, very funny. Listen, if you think a timeout's a big deal and you're going to cancel your sub, have an actual ban, and then you can go find somewhere else. It's really not a big deal. And yeah, that's fine. You're not a good culture fit for here, and that's okay. I assume they're going to take my Chariot here. And we'll Burning Hands this. It really kind of highlights the irony of the internet telling the story about people making a big deal about that, and then someone makes a big deal out of it. Sure, whatever. It's a good draw. Yeah, I think that's my favorite response to leave to people on YouTube. Because YouTube, anybody can leave comments. So there'll frequently be comments like, gosh, Jeff, you talked about politics for 2 minutes in this hour-and-a-half video, and I have to unsub from your channel and leave and go watch something else. My response to those people is always the same. This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Feel free to fuck on off. This Chariot card seems a lot more reasonable at 8 mana, fam. Alright, so if I rip apart Archon, and then I can attack with Goldspan, and then I have 7 and can play Wrenn and Seven.
But we also will not hold back.
Not hold back. This deck was sweet. I feel like we hit a pretty decent balance between like having this big go over the top thing with Maskwood, with Maskwood Nexus to like combo people in the mid-rangey and the control decks, but then also having just like a pretty good glut of like for example, that last game, right? Like I boarded all the Maskwoods out against my opponent's aggressive deck because it is a 4-mana card that doesn't impact the board. But when we weren't playing in something aggressive, we got to World Tree a couple of times. And not only did World Tree happen, but just Magda getting to like tutor up squad commanders was really sweet. Or finding Ghostforge on occasion. Like, this deck was kind of gas. If Chariot and Wrenn and Seven have not felt like a problem in my experience. I think aggressive decks, like what that previous opponent was playing, can get under it. Things like Redain are very powerful in this format. I think the blue decks have a variety of counter spells that are disruptive. Both Negate and Disdainful Stroke are premium cards that you can be playing in this format. And then obviously Wrenn and Seven and Chariot are good, but like there's lots of good things to be doing in this format. In fact, if you said, Jeff, what's the most offensive thing that's happens in this format, I wouldn't even answer Chariot and Wrenn and Seven. I think Aldrin's Epiphany is the most obnoxious card that the format has going on in it right now. I also don't know that I think that that card's too powerful, just like I don't think Chariot and Wrenn and Seven is too powerful, but, you know. Yeah. All right.